Hey guys, how's it going today? I'm a little bit under the weather here, but I'm still going to do this video that I talked about. This is the video from the Austin Stone Community Church, and you can find that online. I've actually really been appreciating a bunch of their sermons, and I read an article on them, and or an article that they had written, and excuse me, I had enjoyed their video sermons, and so I've been commenting on a few, and I'm going to continue to comment on a few. I've watched a few more as I'm not feeling well today. This is just a really good day to use for some spiritual feeding, and if you're looking for some good half hour, 45 minutes videos to encourage you in your faith, I would suggest that you can look in many places, but one place might be the Austin Stone Community Church. Their sermons are online. I have no affiliation with them. I don't know the people there, but I've found that their stuff is really good. So the video that I'm responding to today is the Return of Christ, part 2, and there's some things in part 1 that I agreed with and some parts that I disagreed with, and if you want to see that, it's on a different video. But I just want to make some comments in agreement and with the video that was watched, the Return of Christ part 2 at the Austin Stone Community Church, and I've written down my thoughts today as I am a little bit under the weather here. On the video, there's talking about typically 3 responses to the notion that Jesus will return. And the video is talking about why it's important and why it actually is significant, why it matters that Jesus is going to return. First point, or first response that people have to the notion of Jesus returning is skepticism, or it's disbelief. And the video talks about that a little bit. It talks about how for thousands of years multiple authors were writing about Jesus. And his coming to the earth in human form. And even if you don't take the Bible at face value or worth anything, culturally and historically we can look back and see that there was many writings about Jesus coming to the earth that were fulfilled. And so if your view is one of skepticism that Jesus is going to return, I don't believe any of this. Historically and culturally, there's a lot of evidence pointing to the original coming of Christ, and so we can take what Jesus says about his return at face value. Second response to Christ's return that many of us probably face is one of apathy, and it's just comes from a place where we maybe don't believe that Jesus is going to or could return in our life. And so we go, well, Jesus is going to return at some point in time, but if it's not going to be in our life anyways, what does it matter? Now Jesus gives a response to that, and in essence his response is, don't think that way. Don't do that. Don't find yourself there. There's a long scripture, and I won't read it out, but I would encourage you to. It's Matthew 24, verses 37 to 46. Now normally we take parts of that scripture and we look at it in pieces. We use only parts of that for Bible studies or for sermons or for devotions, and we can use those pieces to encourage diligent Christian service. That's not a wrong application out of those verses, but it certainly isn't the primary application if we look at those verses as a whole. We miss the big picture. Jesus is speaking about his return, and that is the main point in those verses. Please go and read them so you know what I'm talking about. I just won't do it here for sake of time. But Jesus is saying, don't do that. It is important that you believe in my return. It is important that you are concerned about my return. It matters. It matters for your life. Please read those verses. That is Matthew 24, 37 to 46. And then the third response that we may have with regards to Jesus' return is that we're just not quite ready for him to return. There's things in my life that I still want to accomplish. Things in my life I'd like to see happen. I'd like to do things maybe even in ministry that I'd like to see happen here at the bunker before Jesus returns. There are things that I hold on to, and maybe we're excited about the Lord's return, but we just don't want it yet. And questions posed on the video is, are you maybe then too comfortable with this world? If there's things in this world that you want to achieve, that are on your heart, that get you more excited about than the return of Christ, are you maybe a little bit too comfortable in this world? Or the second option, if that's you, if that's me today, that we're not quite ready for Christ's return, is do you believe that Jesus actually is better than everything else? Do you believe that? And there's stuff that we can have, and it talks about this again on the video, just affirming what it says on the video. I really appreciated this one. There's good stuff that we can have, stuff that honors God, stuff that God can give us. But Jesus is better. Now, when I hear that kind of statement, I often think, yeah, but what do you mean Jesus is better? Because Jesus gave me that stuff, so I am experiencing Jesus in the stuff. And there's truth to that, absolutely. But here's the point. We can experience Jesus in the stuff. We can experience His love. We can experience relationship even with Him in the stuff that He gives us. But the truth of the matter is, you cannot experience the fullness of Jesus until Jesus returns. You just can't. You cannot experience the fullness of Jesus until Jesus returns. So do you believe that Jesus is better even than the stuff that He gives you? I want to end off with a verse here, Mark 9:24. And you can read the Bible story before it, but Mark 9:24. At the end of it, it says, I believe, help my unbelief. Maybe there's something in these short few minutes that I've said that grabs your heart. You go, yeah, I believe that, but man, there's part of me that isn't willing to give up something. Would that be your prayer today then? I believe, help my unbelief. And we even see in the scriptures that the disciples, numerous times, it says, and they believed. I don't think that means that somewhere in the middle of their life journey they stopped believing. But I think that this prayer is being answered in their life. I believe, help my unbelief, and they believe to a greater degree. So maybe that needs to be your prayer today with response to the idea that we should be excited, we should be concerned about, it should matter that Jesus is going to return. For the full video of part 2 on the return of Christ, it was preached at the Austin Stone Community Church. You can visit their website, or you can see it on my Facebook page. This has been Don the Sign Guy. Thanks for watching, and hopefully something has challenged you and encouraged you here today.